Amid the countdown to President-elect Trump's inauguration, Republicans are in a hot debate over a visa program that brings skilled workers to the U.S. The H-1B visa is held in high regard by DOJ team members Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and President-elect Trump has also reportedly called it a great program. Meanwhile, the program is challenged by others who say that it's been misused and is handicapping Americans. Joining us now to share his perspective is Javier Palomares, President and CEO of the United States Hispanic Business Council. Happy New Year, Javier. Good to have you with us.
Hi, Stefania. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, first up, your reaction to this debate on H-1B visas.
Well, I got to say I commend President-elect Trump for his support of the H-1B visa program. I think it illustrates his resolve and his commitment to an America First ideology. H-1B visas allow companies to hire an individual temporarily because they have a specific knowledge that we cannot find here in the United States, or they bring with them a bachelor's degree or higher. And so these are critical positions that need to be filled within our economy.
Now, Musk himself credits the H-1B visa program for his ability to work in the U.S. In what ways specifically does it benefit business owners?
Well, I think if you look at it, small businesses rely on large corporations, to continue to do our work, to continue to provide contracting opportunities for us. I think this illustrates, that President Trump understands that 45% of information and technology patents were filed by immigrants. Some 38% of professional services patents were filed by immigrants, and 30% of manufacturing patents, which is actually the largest industry with the most patents, 30% of those patents right here in the United States were filed by people with an immigrant background. If you look at Elon Musk, throughout our history, our country has relied on immigrants for a variety of critical needs. And if you look at where we stand today, nearly 50% of the Fortune 500 corporations were started by immigrants. And I mean companies like AT&T and Bank of America and eBay and Goldman Sachs and Verizon and, yes, Tesla. This is a living illustration of what immigrants bring to the American economy. And it illustrates that President Trump understands that and is willing to do whatever it takes. He's committed and he's got the resolve to bring in the external, immigrant, backgrounds and information and skill sets that we need to continue to be a global leader, specifically when it comes to information and technology sectors.
And in your estimation, what would be the outcome if this program was eliminated?
It would be devastating to our economy. In fact, I'm hoping that we can expand our H-1B visa program, and I've worked toward that for many years now. Right now, we have about 85,000 H-1B visas that we can file for on an annual basis. I think that we should at least double that. And if we could double and go from 85,000 to twice that many, that would create an additional 1.3 million jobs, American jobs. It would add about $160 billion to our GDP. And so again, I just commend President-elect Trump for understanding this and stepping into this and saying, no, this is a program that we need to protect. And I dare say we should expand on the H-1B visa program.
And I do want to look at that because that has been the expansion and reform have both been floated in recent days and weeks. But critics are citing a litany of abuses and troubling incidents. They point to the exploitation of foreign labor through wage theft, to also intentional discrimination against Americans, as in the case of Cognizant. Do you have any thoughts on these allegations of the misuse of the program?
I wouldn't want to, mire myself into that. I understand that there are challenges, as is the case with any program in our economy. We are a large and complicated economy and country. I have no doubt that there have been some misuses of the program, but the net effect at the end of the day is that, the H-1B visa program is a phenomenal aspect of our economy. It is something that we need to continue to rely upon. And I'm just very glad that President-elect Trump seems to understand that. I think it's a great start to the new year. I think it really speaks to his, again, commitment and willingness to keep the kinds of programs around that help our economy. I understand the challenges that others have brought up, and I have no doubt that we'll need to work through those things. But the net effect of the H-1B visa program, it is a boon for the American economy. We need to protect the program. And again, I dare say we should expand upon that program. These are critical positions. They are critically important for the continued, again, global leadership of our nation, in terms of particularly innovation, technology, and manufacturing.
And I will get to next, we will get to the expansion point and reform. But first, there was an analysis from the Center for Immigration Studies that found that around 11.5 million degree holders in STEM, both immigrant and native born, were not working in STEM. That led some to believe that the gap filled by these visas could be filled locally. Or perhaps, the visa may be misappropriated in some ways. How do you respond to that from a business perspective?
I think from a business perspective, as a business owner, as somebody who supports and advocates on behalf of the American small business community, some of that onus is on us. We as business people, the leaders of the business environment and industry, need to step into this. We need to offer ourselves and ensure that we're part of the solution. There are absolutely elements that have not worked exactly the way the program was intended. There will be, I am sure, challenges that we find as we move forward. But I think there needs to be a relationship between the small business community or the business community in general and the incoming administration to find those solutions, to find the problem areas, and together collaboratively find the fixes for those issues. I'm not turning a blind eye to any of that. It is important. We need to acknowledge it. We need to fix it. But we should stop any kind of conversation that has to do with doing away with the H-1B visa program. Again, the net effect of that program is that it is a boon for the American economy. We need to protect the program and fix whatever's wrong with it as we see today.
And Elon Musk seems to agree. He did say that it needs major reform. So you've laid out somewhat of a path there, a vision of how it could be begun. In what ways would you recommend expanding it? And if there's any other recommendations from your perspective about reforming it?
Stefania, as we find ourselves right now, we're in a global race to continue to be the leader when it comes to innovation and technology. We see threats to that position, particularly from China. We need to figure out what are the types of strategies that we can use, such as increasing an H-1B visa program and increasing the allotment that allows us to import the best and brightest so that we can continue to lead the world when it comes to technology and innovation. As we move forward as a country and certainly as an economy, the competition is going to get tougher. It's not going to get easier. China will become even more of a specter as we move forward. We need to find ways to protect our position as the global leader when it comes to, again, information and technology. And oftentimes that means that you have to keep an open mind and be willing to step outside the boundaries of the United States and find that talent and bring it to the U.S. Again, we have a history of having done that. I mentioned AT&T and Bank of America and eBay and Goldman Sachs and again Tesla. Those are instances where we found the talent or that talent found us, and those companies were founded here in the United States. We need to continue that ideology. We need to embrace the opportunity that exists for us to attract the best and brightest, not close ourselves off. If we do close ourselves off, that's the beginning of the end for our economy and ultimately for our nation.